you and I talked about it opening the show before we went on the air, was Titus O'Neil making his big
Oh,
splash,
big splash. I like it.
uh, and slipping or tripping and
Oh
sliding
man,
underneath
oh
the ring,
man.
uh, which I
That
guess was a big hit with Vince backstage.
Yes, it was fun. Well, it wasn't just a big hit with Vince. It was a big hit with everybody. Everybody just thought that that was the funniest thing they'd ever seen. And I was right there with them. It was one of the funniest things that I've ever seen. You know what? Today I saw online, I saw a funny little cartoon. It was of course cartoon characters, but you could tell who they, I mean, it looked just like them. But it was Titus O'Neil standing there being handed the torch from the Shockmaster.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
Oh yeah, I saw. I think somebody tweeted at dinner with King. I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that was funny. And you know what? I know you're going to think this is crazy, but I had never, even though I sat next to him at a Comic Con one year, and he was sitting there selling and signing the autographed masks, but I had never seen the video of the Shockmaster.
Really? Never in your life?
I had never seen it until like yesterday. And I saw that, and Peyton and I were sitting on the couch, somebody was showing it because of the Titus O'Neil stuff, and Peyton he did not get to see the show, the Greatest Royal Rumble, because he was in school, so he hadn't seen the Titus O'Neil thing either. And I'm gonna tell you, the kid and me too, we both watched the Shockmaster, and then we watched Titus, and then we went Shockmaster, Titus, back and forth. We laughed for literally nonstop for like 30 minutes on watching those two videos. But yeah, it was just funny. It was like all the baseball and football bloopers rolled into one.
Oh, that Shockmaster has been dissected by a lot of people involved. I think that was Dusty Rhodes' idea. Of course it
Yeah.
was. And the person that was doing the voice of the Shockmaster was Arn Anderson.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that was Fred Ottman, who was the guy that was
Yes.
playing
Yeah, Fred.
Shockmaster. Yeah.
And you know what the cool thing is? He's capitalized on that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I actually sent, I actually sent a text message to Titus on Saturday about, about that same thing. I mean, I'm sure without a doubt he was humiliated and, felt like he's the butt of the worldwide jokes and all of that sort of thing. But I honestly, when I saw it and after I laughed and then, me being the old 20-year territory owner and 20-year promoter, I immediately was trying to think of, what you could do. How could you capitalize on this thing? And so I sent a text message to Titus with an idea that I had on how he could turn this negative into a positive. And then I sent the idea on to some of the writers there at the WWE, and they wound up on Monday night doing a version of what I talked about. And it was just, it was a thing that, well, like the Shockmaster, that video will live forever. So why not turn it around and make something positive out of it? Now they've already got him a T-shirt, and I can see a lot of other opportunities that could come out of this thing. And that's what I told him. When in my text I said, Titus, sometimes things happen for a reason, and you got to be an opportunist, and you got to be able to make a positive out of a negative. And I gave him my ideas, and I think that's what they're going to try to do with this thing.
One thing, if you would have done that with the regular ring presentation where they have the video boards on the three sides of the ring, if you would have fell into the video board like for a Raw or a regular pay-per-view, he could have been seriously hurt, broken neck.
Could have broken his neck. He was going 100 miles an hour down there.
So he's very fortunate that A, there wasn't a video board, and B, usually there's stuff underneath the ring. I'm sure there was, but it didn't seem to slow him down when he slid underneath the ring. So, I mean, there's ladders under there and chairs and.
Yeah, and I think that he did hit something with his head. I believe he said later, that that finally stopped his slide. But that was another thing. Can you imagine I think he could get an endorsement out of this. I don't know who makes slip and slides, Hasbro or somebody, but can you imagine the commercial they could make with Titus O'Neil, and even tied in with SummerSlam? Have him in the backyard with a bunch of kids, and they're doing a slip and slide, and they've built themselves a little ring, and they're sliding underneath it with Titus leading the way. I mean, I think there's just a lot of things that they could do with that.
Oh my God, they could build a whole slip and slide, inflatable, and at the end, like you said, to include on the slip and slide like a little miniature Raw sign with a little bit of like a little flag, like not a flag, but like a curtain.
Sure,
and
all sorts of things.
Slide right into underneath the ring or into like the water.
Hey, that was one of the ways that the New Day became a big hit. Remember those crazy commercials they used to do?
Yeah, the crazy stuff like the unicorns on top of their head and the cereal.
Man, put Titus out there like George Foreman, plugging the Titus O'Neil slip and slide.
I mean, I would buy
Instead
that.
of the George Foreman grill, you got a Titus slip and slide.
I would buy that.
There you go.
I mean,
I should get some. You and I should get some royalties or something if they ever do that, shouldn't we?
I mean, that's a legit good idea for him to make some money and also to promote a product. I mean, I like you said. I mean, a lot of guys are kind of scared about being a comedy act when they want to be a serious or a champion. But I mean, hey, wrestling's about making money, man. If you can make money,
exactly,
something that happens, you should definitely go all over, because this could be a one-shot deal. This unless you do it on purpose again, but this is a one-time thing. And also, Vince showed it 6 times, and he was a good sport about it. So you already have Vince's approval with doing it, and they're already.
I'm looking back at my text that I sent him. I said, Titus, as someone who owned and booked the territory for 20 years, I can tell you that this could be gold. Social media could eat this thing up. And I said it would show that you're an opportunist and able to turn negatives into positive. And I said, plus, it shows a trait that people find admirable in others, and that is the ability to laugh at themselves. And I told him I thought about this on the plane ride home while watching the movie Thor. I mean, in the movie Thor, he bumbled and fumbled throughout the entire movie, and you couldn't help but laugh at him. But in the end, he kicked ass, and you liked him even more because he wasn't invincible. I mean, he was a human enough to be made fun of, but then the fans could relate to that, and so that was one of the ways I was telling Titus that this could turn into a big positive to him.
And King, I mean, he could, once this run its course, through SummerSlam, through the summer months, I mean, he could turn into a heel and say, y'all, you making fun of me. Everybody was laughing at me. He could, even take it to another route.
Exactly. I mean, there's endless number of things that you could turn this into. It's no sense in letting it just go on and be the butt of a joke. I mean, and I think they've already realized that in the fact that they started Monday Night on Raw and they got a T-shirt coming out. I think it's funny. A year from now, Titus O'Neil may look back and say, "Man, the greatest thing that ever happened to me was falling down the ramp at the Greatest Royal Rumble."
Yeah, I'm sure his bank account would like it too.
Yeah.